Hello, friends and neighbors. Dr. Ken Berry here with you. Let's hang out. Let's talk about some news articles and let's answer some questions. Let's all work on getting healthier in 2025. We've already passed the January 10th cutoff. That's where most people, all those New Year's resolutions they made, they've kicked those out the window. And so I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions. I'm more a fan of making small changes and just making them stick and keeping doing a little bit better each day, a little bit better each week. I think that's a much better strategy. Thanks to everybody for joining me this afternoon. I've got some pretty interesting news articles to share with you. Also, I was quoted in I guess it would be a mainstream media outlet, and so I'll share that with you today as well. If you have a friend who's always wanting to ask me a question, but they always miss my lives, now's the time to share this on your favorite social media or send them the link in a text message, a WhatsApp, or an email. There's a button down in the bottom right that says share. Click that and then decide how you want to share this. That's how we reach new people each and every day, people who have never heard of the concept of a proper human diet, people who think that their obesity is just genetic and there's nothing they can do about it. They think that their type 2 diabetes is they just got it, luck of the draw, nothing they can do about it. These people have no idea that they can reverse these conditions by changing the food that they eat and changing the junk that they avoid. They just don't know. Many of you watching maybe used to be in that same boat, and then someone shared one of my videos with you. So please don't be shy about doing that. Please share a video, share this video or one of my others. If you know somebody, I've got over 1,500 videos on YouTube about pretty much every medical condition under the sun. You just go to YouTube and type in Dr. Berry, and then whatever condition you're worried about, the videos will pop up. And then you can share those videos with someone who has that condition, who may not even know that they can improve it with diet and lifestyle, or reverse it completely with diet and lifestyle. Now, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing where everybody's watching from. I see Greece in the house. I see Massachusetts in the house. I saw Germany. I saw Adelaide, Australia. Tell me, here's Tracy from Pennsylvania. Here's Vitalius from the UK. Excellent. Excellent. We got people all over the world. Do we have 6 continents watching us right now? There's Brody from Canada. Excellent. Louisiana in the house. South Africa. Whoa, where did you go? Come back here. These are going by really fast. Here we go. Fee in South Africa. So we got Africa, we got Australia, we got Germany, we got the Europe, we got UK. Do we have Asia? Anybody from Asia? I know we have North America. Haven't seen anybody from South America yet. Anybody? Tell us in the comment. Here's Sito from Israel. I thought I saw Russia, but it's Memphis. Welcome, Russell. Welcome. Glad to have you here from Memphis. All right. So we'll do the news first, and then I'm going to answer some of your questions. I'll answer as many of your questions as I have time. Adrian from Mexico. All right, Adrian, Mexico in the house. And Natalie, my neighbor from, there's Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Where'd Natalie go? Come back here, Natalie. Man, these go fast. There's Natalie from Ripley, Tennessee. Metropolitan Ripley, right? Yeah, I know. I'm in Metropolitan Holiday, Tennessee right now as well. All right, let's get started with some news articles. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this. I am a technological newbie. I try to do a good job at this, but sometimes I have trouble. Let's see. I think that I want to go to this one first. Yes, I think I want to go to this one first. So, okay. So there's this new company that our new president here in the United States had a press conference with Larry Ellison, who's the Chief Technology Officer at Oracle. And I'm going to try to play you this video, and then I want to get your feedback on this. I hope that you can.
Once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again, using AI in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Now, I want to know what you think about that. How does that make you feel? $500 billion is going to be allocated to this new venture. Larry Ellison assures us that, and I'm all for early cancer detection, and you probably are too. It's like, yeah, the sooner we can catch cancer, the sooner we can detect cancer in somebody's body, the sooner we can start to fight it, treat it, cure it, right? So I'm all for early detection of cancer. That's not my problem. My problem is, are you guys comfortable with AI designing an mRNA vaccine for your particular cancer? I think we all remember we had some problems with the mRNA, and I've actually studied the mRNA technology quite a bit. I'm not convinced it's safe. I'm not convinced that this is something that we probably ought to consider, but I wanted you guys to see that and know that that's in the works. As always, anytime, especially in America, if you see something that the federal government is proposing to do, the way you fight that is by being mouthy. And Americans are very good at this. People from many other countries will tell you we're very good at being mouthy, being loud, being boisterous. And so if you didn't like the sound of that, you need to reach out to your congressmen and your senators and say, hey, no. Now, this is one of the many things that I'm hoping that our new Department of Health and Human Services, our new department head, if he gets confirmed, of the CDC, will say, oh, you know what? Before we move forward with that, let's look at all the existing research with fresh eyes. Let's go back and see who funded the research. Let's go back and see, was this research done properly? Let's look at all the supplemental information. Let's look at the raw data. Let's do that. Let's go back and look at all this stuff and make sure that this is in fact something that we want to pursue, because looking at your comments, a lot of you guys are like, whoa, what? Yeah. So that's the first news story. I just wanted you to know that was in the works. And so if you don't like the sound of that, you need to be a mouthy American, and you need to tell your state reps, state senators, U.S. reps, U.S. senators, hey, I'm not, we need to go back and look at all this research because I'm very uncomfortable about this technology being used. Now, next news story. I think I'm doing this right. Let's see if I'm doing this right. Yes. Now, you all know that there's a huge debate about whether fiber is an essential nutrient. Should we eat it? Must we eat it? If you eat zero fiber, will you die of some deficiency? And my good friend, Dr. Georgia Ede, was recently on a podcast called Diary of a CEO, which is a great podcast. They have lots of good guests on there. And I love it that they timestamp the interviews so that I can kind of scroll through and go, yeah, I don't care about that. Yeah, oh, I want to hear what they say about that. And here's a clip. Carnivore JT, my buddy on Twitter, shared this clip. And I want you to listen to Dr. Georgia Ede describe fiber and how it's not essential and how it really plays no part at all in the human diet or the gut microbiome or anything else if you're eating a proper human diet.
Meat, seafood, and poultry contain every nutrient we need. Like
Correct.
fiber?
Oh, well, fiber's not a nutrient.
Oh, okay. But do you get fiber in a carnivore diet?
True carnivore diet is fiber-free.
Could you last on a true carnivore diet without getting some kind of like gut microbiome issue or some kind of, because you need fiber, right?
Why?
Thought it was good for like digestion and your gut microbiome and stuff like that.
What does it do?
A lot of people tell me that it prevents glucose going into the blood or something.
Where's the glucose coming from?
So you don't need it.
People who are paying really close attention to nutrition science have a lot of half-truths in their minds about food. If you're eating a high carbohydrate diet, fiber can soften your glucose spikes, and that's a plus. But there's a more effective way to lower your glucose spikes is to not get a glucose spike in the first place. Another thing people often say about fiber is that it sweeps your colon clean of toxins, and there's never been a study that demonstrates this. It's really just a belief. The intestines clean themselves. The lining sheds regularly, actually very frequently. But the biggest myth about fiber is that it's good for digestion, because fiber, by definition, is indigestible.
Traditionally considered essential for feeding beneficial gut bacteria and promoting regular bowel movements.
There are quite a few papers on this claiming that we need fiber because we need to feed our cells butyrate, which is a breakdown product of fiber. Butyrate, if you think about what a ketone is, it's beta-hydroxybutyrate, feeds the intestinal cells just as well. Meat, seafood, and poultry.
Exactly.
Meat, seafood, and
Exactly. So Dr. Georgia Eid here does an absolutely beautiful job of using the Socratic method. She didn't argue. She didn't say, well, actually, you're wrong. She just kept asking questions. And I you guys maybe go back and watch that again. It's on Carnivore JT's Twitter account. That's the way you do it. You just ask questions and let the person walk their own mind through it. It's like, oh, I heard that fiber, lowers your response to glucose. Well, where did the glucose come from? Oh, so if you eat a low glucose diet, carnivore diet being the lowest glucose diet of all, then you don't need the fiber for that. Oh, well, I heard that it cleans your guts. So you think that your intestines need to be swept out? Do they need to be scrubbed? Like what about the surface of your eyeball? Do you need to scrub the surface of? No, that would be dumb. You don't need to scrub any mucosal surface in your body. This excellent explanation of why fiber is silly. She also implied that many people hold beliefs about nutrition, and this is absolutely true. I had no idea that people were they had such fervent beliefs about nutrition until I really got into this space. I just thought I could just come on here and say the facts and people would be like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay. No. People have preconceptions. They have dearly held beliefs about nutrition. There are some people out there, if you said to them, yeah, you don't need fiber at all, it's not essential, they would become emotionally upset at you. Like, what is wrong with you? They would be offended by you saying that. Science, there's no place for emotion in biology, in biochemistry, in science. And so if you're talking to your doctor and your doctor says something like, oh, you're probably not getting enough fiber, say, well, doctor, I was under the assumption that fiber was not a nutrient, that it was not an essential nutrient, that it's never been proven to do anything in our body. Why would you say that? And then just sit there and smile and listen. And if your doctor becomes visibly, emotionally upset, that's a big red flag that your doctor has just a belief. It's a belief, just like a religious belief. They don't have any proof. They don't know why. They don't even know why they believe it. They just believe it. That's very worrisome. Okay. Doctors and dietitians, nutritionists, pharmacists, nurse practitioners, physicians, assistants, when it comes to the recommendations they give their patients, they should be listening to every word that comes out of their own mouth, and they should stop themselves mid-sentence if they're speaking and they go, wait, I don't know that to be a fact. I blindly believe that. You need to shut up and say, I was going to say something, but I don't know if that's proven yet, so I'm not going to say that. So anytime a doctor or dietitian says, oh, fiber is essential, that's completely incorrect. No one needs fiber. Now, if you're like Dr. Eid said, if you're eating a high carb, high sugar diet, maybe you need some fiber. But if you're eating a very low carbohydrate diet, like a ketogenic diet or a ketovore diet or a carnivore diet or a lion diet, you don't need any fiber. Fiber is not a nutrient. It is not an essential nutrient. Now, I'm thinking about doing more and more lives like this where I go through some news articles and kind of break it down. Do you guys like this? Do you like this format? You're able to hear the audio. Is this fun, or would you rather me just answer questions the entire hour? And while I'm waiting for your answers, I will go to the next one. Yes. So Steak and Shake has officially announced that starting March the 1st of 2025, they will be using 100% beef tallow to fry their fries. And I'm assuming any other fried foods that they fry, because that would be very inefficient to have one fryer with beef tallow and another fryer with soybean oil or canola. So I'm taking this, but it doesn't start until March the 1st. And this is not going to make their French fries healthy, but it will make their French fries less unhealthy. Okay. I'm a big fan of Steak and Shake. Nisha and I go there. I usually get 7 patties with 3 or 4 pieces of cheese and stacked up. And I just eat it like a little cake with my fork. I might actually eat 1 or 2 of their fries if they were fried in 100% beef tallow. So a lot of people don't know this, but that's why I wanted you to be aware of that. So if you're like, you know what, I'm going to eat some fries on my birthday, I would much prefer you eat some fries fried in 100% beef tallow. And I'm also hoping that if we all reach out to our favorite restaurant, whether fast food or sit down, and say, hey, Steak and Shake is using 100% beef tallow now. Why are you guys not doing that? Because that used to be the standard back in the 60s and 70s. Everybody fried everything in beef tallow. It was only after a $1 million propaganda campaign that people were misled into thinking, oh, beef tallow, it's high in saturated fat. It's animal fat. You better use canola or soybean or some other peanut oil or something. You don't use animal fat. Well, now you know the truth. So we all need, every time we go to a restaurant, we need to say, hey, what do you fry your fries or your onion rings or your whatever in? What do you fry it in? And if they say anything besides beef tallow, you need to frown and shake your head and say, oh, man, I was going to order some, but not now. Not if you fry it in soybean oil. No, I'll never eat that. And when enough of us have been mouthy enough, guess what they'll do? They'll do exactly what Steak and Shake did. They'll listen to the feedback and say, I think there's a huge customer base out there that wants us to fry stuff in beef tallow. Now, let me say again, this will not make their fries healthy, but it will definitely make their fries less unhealthy. So you're a grown adult, you can do whatever you want to do. Now, so are any of you guys excited about Steak and Shake frying their fries in beef tallow, or do you not care? Do you know of a local restaurant or another restaurant that uses beef tallow to fry their foods in? If so, give them a shout out in the comments, because a lot of people didn't know this about Steak and Shake. I'm told that Buffalo Wild Wings fries some of their wings in beef tallow, but I don't know if that applies to everything. You need to ask the waitress. Yes, Steve, I'm waiting for a company to start frying their food in lard, because when that happens, oh honey, it's on at that point. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Coach Teresa, one of the coaches in our PhD community, she says, I try not to eat out much, and I do the same too, but in a pinch, I'll get some Steak and Shake patties with a few slices of cheese. All right. What's our next story coming up? Yes. Everybody loves coffee, right? So Yahoo Life They shared a news article from Parade magazine, Parade website. This type of coffee is the worst for heart health. And unlike many nutrition articles on the internet, I completely agree with this article. Weird, right? I know. So it's written by Emily Lawrence. Not sure what her qualifications are. But she goes initially and says, there's a lot of research showing that coffee might be healthy, might be good for your heart, might put off dementia, might help you live longer. And that's true. There's some epidemiological research that shows that might be true. So don't be going and telling your friends it's proven that coffee extends your life and prevents heart disease and prevent dementia. No, it's not proven. There is a fairly robust association between coffee consumption and those good outcomes, but it has not been proven yet. Coffee probably is, but maybe because of all the polyphenols in coffee. You hear people all the time espousing a vegan diet saying, oh, how are you getting your polyphenols? I always say, from my coffee. Coffee has thousands of polyphenols in it, some of which we haven't even discovered what they are yet. So down here in the 4th or 5th paragraph, which is where you need to start reading most news articles, because the first 3 paragraphs are usually fluff. Here it is. This is from a cardiologist, which typically means nothing to me, but in this case, I agree. Highly sweetened specialty drinks like caramel macchiatos and blended frappuccinos do more harm than good when it comes to heart health. These beverages often contain hundreds of calories of sugar, which can negate any potential heart healthy benefits from coffee. Dr. Setare. And then Dr. Paz agrees and says, I would advise staying away from any coffee drinks that have high sugar content. 100% agree. Flavored coffees with lots of syrup would fall into this category, and they are generally not heart healthy. I would change generally to absolutely. They're absolutely not heart healthy. When you're drinking that much sugar, that many grams of sugar, I don't care about the calories. When you're drinking that many grams of sugar, you might as well just take a club or a bat with some rusty nails driven into the end and beat your heart with it. That's about how much sense that makes. All right. So, yes, coffee is fine. Now, for you carnivore fanatics out there, I love you guys, but I need you to try really hard not to be militant. Don't act like a vegan. If somebody's eating an all-meat diet, but they still have a cup or 2 or 3 of coffee every morning, they're still a carnivore. Don't be an asshole. Come on. Okay? This is not about being perfect. This is just about doing way the hell better than you used to do. That's where good health is. Nobody has to be perfect. You just have to do better than you've done in the past and keep doing a little better each week, each month, each year. How many coffee lovers do I have? Don't be shy. Don't be lying. If you're in a carnivore group, you go ahead and tell me the truth. If you love coffee, tell me. If you don't love coffee, tell me. If you react to coffee, because there are a subset of people, it's maybe 5% of people, they're sensitive to coffee. They'll have a reaction. It's probably to some of the polyphenols in there that they just react to it. For some very few people, 3 to 5% of people drinking coffee the morning of getting blood work done, it'll actually raise their triglycerides and maybe even raise their blood sugar, even if it's a sugar-free cup of black coffee. I love coffee. I'm sorry. And don't yell at me. Don't at me. I have tried, I did 90 days with no caffeine. And in the middle of that 90 days, I did 30 days with no coffee whatsoever for an entire month. And at the end of that month, I was like, I don't feel any different whatsoever, but I do miss coffee. And so on each end of that, I tacked on an additional month of caffeine-free coffee. So 90 days, no caffeine, 30 days, no coffee at all. I could not tell any difference in how I felt at all. But I think that's not true of 100% of people. I think some people need to do the coffee experiment, especially if you're eating very low carb and your triglycerides are still really high. You need to do the coffee experiment. If you're eating very low carb and your blood sugar is still higher than you think it should be, you probably need to do the coffee experiment and see if it's the coffee causing that. Now, I've got one final news article to share with you, and then I'm going to answer some questions. No, I've got two more to go. Share this screen. So here's something that you may not know. If you buy pre-processed foods, there's lots of stuff going on in the background that you don't know at the factory where that food-like product is created. And I'm not just talking about jelly donuts and cake and pie and just obvious crap. We all know they're full of crap. I'm talking about, what if you're trying to do a little better and you're like, I know chicken nuggets are not perfect, but I mean, it's got meat in it. So it's got meat. So that's better than not having any meat. So I'm going to buy these chicken nuggets. And this is Purdue Farms. They're chicken nuggets. And when you read the ingredients, it doesn't list soybean oil. And you're like, okay, so it's seed oil free and it's got some chicken. I mean, it's breaded. It's not perfect. I know that, but at least it's not just terrible, like eating ding dongs like I used to, or honey buns. I mean, it's got some meat in it. Well, it comes to find out that there's this little rule at the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and hopefully these kind of rules will be getting thrown out the window in the coming months. But if a company uses something as a processing aid or an incidental additive, they don't have to put it on the ingredients. And so in this case, they basically drop the chicken into a vat of boiling soybean oil, but they leave it in there for less than 10 seconds. I shit you not. And then just because it was an incidental additive or a processing aid, they don't have to list that. Now, do you think the breading on that chicken soaked up some of that soybean oil? 100%. Should that be listed in the ingredients? 100%. Do they list it? No. This is dishonest. And the federal government currently allows this kind of dishonesty. And so this post got community noted, where they said, actually, there's no such thing as a 10-second rule. And then when you actually read the citations, you find out, no, this is actually true. They just don't call it a 10-second rule. Yeah. And so if you're trying to improve your diet and you're like, well, I'm going to get this, breaded chicken legs. It's got chicken in it. It's got the skin on, and it doesn't say it has any seed oils. If it's fried, it's got seed oils. If it comes in a box, if it comes in a plastic bag, even if it's not on the ingredient list, it's probably been dipped in soybean oil and fried at a very high temperature for 9.75 seconds and then pulled out. And if anybody's ever fried chicken, you know that the breading holds some of the oil. That's why it's crispy. That's why it's tasty. So yeah, you cannot trust the ingredient label. And I predict that as months go on, you're going to see way more of this stuff come out. I think a lot of the big food companies are being dishonest. And they're just like this. It's not technically illegal what they're doing, but if you lined up 100 common sense people and you ask them, should Purdue put soybean oil on the ingredient label, maybe with an asterisk at the bottom, like we didn't add soybean oil, but it was dropped in soybean oil for 9.75 seconds. Should that be on the ingredient label? I think 99 out of 100 common sense people would say, hell yeah, that should be on the ingredient list. But the federal government, as it currently stands, allows this sort of bullshit. Hopefully this won't continue for much longer. I have high hopes for the incoming administration that they will stop foolishness like this. Are you shocked that this kind of thing happens by big food manufacturers? Are you like, are you clutching your pearls? I can't believe they would do such a thing. Or are you not surprised at all? I stand firmly in the not surprised at all camp. I think they'll do whatever they have to do to maximize profits, including mislead every single one of their customers, as long as they don't officially break the law. Yes, they will 100% do that. Yes. Yeah, I'm loving y'all's comments. Janine says, not shocked at all. And here's a good thing from April. What if you're allergic to soybean oil? There are some people who are deathly allergic, have anaphylactic shock if they're exposed to soybean oil. Purdue didn't think about April's husband. They didn't think about her husband at all. They're like, yeah, we didn't actually add it, so we're not going to put it on the label. Screw April's husband. He can just go to the ER and get some epinephrine and breathing treatment or two. Maybe get put on the vent for a while. It's no big deal because we didn't add it. Andy says, not shocked at all. Not shocked at all. I'm looking at y'all's comments. They're cracking me up. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, last news article. Then I'm going to answer some of your questions. So this is an article that appeared this morning on foxnews.com. It's entitled Trump and a Healthier America Welcomed by Doctors, New Golden Age. And it's got quotes from several doctors here. Let's see if I can see any of them. Oh, here's a quote from Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician and diabetes specialist in Tennessee. Told Fox News he hopes Trump's presidency will be a new golden age for American health. See the key word in there, hopes. So let me be very clear and transparent here. If the government's talking, I'm shaking my head no and not believing them until I always trust and verify. Just like big food companies, when it comes to the federal government, I'll believe it when I see it. Said Berry, for too long, the practice of medicine has been polluted by corporate profits, questionable research, silenced physicians, and misleading statements to the public. I hope to see a thoughtful reevaluation of all existing research, not only in medicine, but in virology, in vaccinology, in many fields. I want a complete reevaluation with fresh eyes. I basically don't want the guys who got paid to do the research to reevaluate the research. I want fresh eyes. I want at least one person on the board reviewing this research to be opposed, to be anti. A thoughtful reevaluation of existing research, the restoration of an unhindered doctor-patient relationship. Over the last few years, the doctor-patient relationship has been effectively destroyed by the things that doctors were forced to say, by the things that doctors were forced to endorse. And when I say forced, I mean basically they're going to lose their license, lose their livelihood, lose their career if they didn't say these things and endorse these things and recommend certain things. That's got to stop. That's not how the doctor-patient relationship was designed by thousands of years of human history. That's not what it's supposed to be. We've got to rediscover and reclaim the doctor-patient relationship. The cessation of direct-to-consumer pharmaceutical advertising. This 100% needs to happen. Our children should not be trying to watch a cartoon and there's a big pharma ad. You should not be watching the evening news and there's another big pharma ad. That is inappropriate. Okay, that'd be like Monsanto advertising some weird, dangerous chemical that only other chemical factories would ever buy and use. Why would they do that? Only a doctor can prescribe these medications. So these pharma companies need to advertise to doctors like they've done for the last 80 years. Advertising to patients, all that does is mess up the doctor-patient relationship because the patient comes in saying, hey, I saw this drug on TV and all the people were so happy in the commercial. I want that drug. Then the doctor's got to waste 10 minutes saying, well, first of all, your insurance won't pay for that because it's a brand new drug. my staff's going to have to spend 45 minutes doing prior authorizations. And I'll have to get on the phone with the doctor from the insurance company, who's basically a paid prostitute, and convince them that you need this. And also, this drug doesn't work any better than the generic drugs that we already have. Also, when 5 out of 10 ads on a local news station are big pharma ads, can you guess what kind of news story that local news network will never run? 50% of their ad budget comes from big pharma. Do you think they're ever going to run an article, a news story, even if it's breaking news, like, oh my God, this drug causes cancer? You think they're going to run that? They don't want to lose 50% of their ad revenue. And the last part of my statement, and an end to big food's misleading health claims. He also encourages a vigorous effort to educate Americans on genuinely healthy food and lifestyle choices, along with a renewed cultural appreciation for the idea that being healthy and happy is not only achievable, it's also aspirational. Let's make being healthy sexy again. Let's make being healthy cool again. I mean, we almost got to the point where being very unhealthy and severely obese was cool. Oh, healthy at every size. No, there is no such thing as healthy severe obesity. There is no such thing. There's no such thing as healthy type 2 diabetes. There's no such thing as healthy hypertension. No such thing as healthy fatty liver. No such thing as healthy metabolic syndrome. Those are by definition diseases. You can't be healthy if you have those. You will be healthier if you reverse those with a proper human diet. So that's my big, I got quoted by a mainstream media outlet. Does that make me a sellout? I don't know. Does it? You tell me in the comments. So now, that's the news for today. Let's make, yes, Joe, let's make America sexy again. Let's make America fit again. Make America metabolically healthy again. 100% agree. 100%. Now, now's the time. If you've got a question for me, type it into the comments. Keep it as short and sweet as you can while including all relevant information. If you'll put 3 capital Q's at the beginning of the question, that'll help me see it as a question. You're welcome to chat amongst yourselves and voice your opinion. Even you vegans and vegetarians, you're welcome to ask questions or just type in a comment. I won't be offended. I won't yell at you. I won't block you. There's a good point. Trigger says, I didn't realize how sick people look until I myself got healthy. Yeah. And when you're sick, and I just posted over on Noster. Do you know what Noster is? You need to look into it. It's a decentralized social media platform where you can never be canceled. Nostr. It's an app on your phone. You can download it. I use the primal version, but there's also Amethyst and other versions of it that you can dial into Noster. You can never be canceled there. I recently posted, you don't know how sick you feel until you stop being sick. And this is true for me. I was 297 pounds, pre-diabetic, but I was a doctor. I had a successful practice. I was running and gunning. I thought, well, I feel pretty good, I guess, for, 35, 40. I had no idea how miserable I was until I reversed my severe obesity and reversed my pre-diabetes and got rid of all the inflammation. I had no idea how much better I could feel. And I bet you, some of you guys watching right now are like, no, I think I feel pretty good. Night Templar says, what spices can we use in a carnivore diet? I'm an Indian, therefore spices. I understand. It's a bit challenging for me without spices. So I'll tell you this, Night Templar, and for everybody else watching, for the vast majority of people, as long as the spices are real, natural spices, and they don't have added sugar and they don't have added fillers like tapioca starch, and they don't have added vegetable seed oils, they're fine for most people on a carnivore diet, even all those yummy Indian spices. They're totally fine. Some of the spices might have health benefits. Now, if you read some news outlets, they'll be like, oh, turmeric cures cancer. No, there's no proven benefit from eating turmeric. Definitely no proven benefit from taking a turmeric or curcumin supplement. That's a waste of money. But it's tasty to put on your food. And if you've got the real item, it hasn't been adulterated, for the vast majority, 95% of people on a carnivore diet can use some spices. It's totally fine. Doesn't slow down their healing at all. Now, some few people, it does. But most people, it's totally fine. Good question. Oh, wait. I missed it. Dang it. They jumped. Oh, there we go. Okay. Sia Farms. I'm in remission from ovarian cancer. Even on carnivore, I still crave dairy. Why? Because dairy has this stuff in it called quesomorphins. When your body digests the casein proteins, one of the byproducts is quesomorphins, and it rhymes with morphine because it acts like morphine. It's not as strong as morphine, but it acts on the mu opioid receptor, and it gives you a sense of calmness, happiness, contentedness, mild euphoria. It doesn't get you crazy like morphine, but it has the same effect, maybe 1/100th as strong. So you for all your life drinking milk, first hopefully drinking your mother's milk, you were getting quesomorphins, and that's actually a good thing because we want you to be addicted to mother's milk. And then maybe your mom weaned you off and you drink cow's milk or goat's milk, maybe sheep's milk, camel milk, donkey milk, reindeer milk, depending on where you live in the world. All milk has caseins, and all caseins break down into quesomorphins. So all your life, you've been getting this little hit of these quesomorphins. And now that you're trying to be dairy-free, your body's like, yeah, but man, that milk really made me feel good. Cheese is the same way. Usually the harder and more processed the cheese is, the higher the quesomorphin content. Now, so with real hard, fully fermented cheese, the macronutrients are good. It's super low carb. It's got plenty of healthy fat and healthy protein, but it also has concentrated quesomorphins. For some people, they can include dairy in their keto diet, ketovore diet, or carnivore diet, do just fine, reach all their health goals. Other people are sensitive to the caseins and the wheys in dairy, and it will lead to joint inflammation, gut inflammation, skin inflammation, or a degradation of their mental health if they eat or drink too much dairy. So keep that in mind on your keto or your carnivore journey. Now, Catherine says, what about kefir? So kefir is fermented dairy. When you ferment dairy, you not only, the microbe that does the fermentation process, it eats up all the sugar in the milk. That's a good thing. So if it's fully fermented yogurt or kefir, there's not much sugar left at all. And it also bends the protein molecules, the casein in the whey. It bends them. That's why it turns from a liquid into a semi-solid. And for many people, when you ferment dairy, it makes it less inflammatory. This is why our ancestors, once they accidentally fermented milk and they tried it and didn't die, they're like, oh, it kind of tastes funky, but it was kind of good. And I didn't die. And also, I didn't get that joint inflammation or that gut inflammation I usually do when I drink or eat dairy, because it had bent the casein and whey proteins. So for many people, fully fermented. And so don't count on a big food manufacturer to fully ferment yogurt. They don't fully ferment it. But if you make yogurt or kefir at home, you can fully ferment it. It's going to be essentially zero carb. And it's going to really bend the casein and whey molecules so it doesn't cause inflammation. All right, more questions. Bex says, thank you. Your generosity saves lives. Thank you, Bex. That means a lot to me. It really does. Thank you. Miriam, hi, doctor. Opinion on protein sparing fast. Been ketovore for 2 years. This is essentially a all protein or very high protein, low fat, low carb. I don't really think this is necessary. I don't think this serves any useful purpose. It's not going to hurt you, but if you want to try it. But I don't think it benefits most people. Vicky, they will never cure cancer. It would cost the government too much money when older people don't die. Oh, Vicky's thinking like an economist. If we retire and live, it costs them money. So Vicky thinks that there may be a financial incentive to not cure cancer. Maybe. Robot 83, my wife just got her results, aplastic anemia, and all is good, but blood sugar low at 68. So a blood sugar of 68 is not low, Robot. She has hypoglycemia. She has much more energy. So that's impossible. If she were hypoglycemic, she would not have much more energy. A blood sugar of 68 is completely and totally normal. Somebody misled you about that. That's a great blood sugar. Day is night. Just wanted to say thank you for what you do. I'm hoping to switch to carnivore, ketovore after a long fast. I am attempting today till many days from now. Let us know. If you're a part of our private community, please keep us updated on your progress. We got thousands of people in our private community who are doing experiments just like this, saying, okay, now I'm going to try keto. Okay, now I'm going to try carnivore. And we do additional live question and answer sessions in there, 4 extra ones each and every week. We have guest stars, like we've had Michelle Hearn, registered dietitian, in there. We've had Dr. Eric Westman, Dr. Tony Hampton, all kinds of people. You never know who's going to pop up in our private community and answer your questions. There's a link in the show notes on YouTube and Facebook. If you want to become a tribe member, we'd love to have you. Ed, I've lost 15 pounds since January the 1st. Swelling in ankles is gone. Swollen, bleeding gums are normal now. How many people you know that when they brush their teeth, it looks like somebody punched them in the mouth when they spit in the sink? That gets better on meat-heavy keto or ketovore or carnivore. Skin is smoother. Don't need lotion. No more shortness of breath. I have a bowel movement once a week. How many of you guys are like, oh, that can't be healthy? Yeah, it's perfectly healthy for a carnivore to poop once a week. You don't have to poop 3 times a day, big, ginormous, stinky poops. If you're not eating all that fiber, which we now know is not a nutrient. It just makes you poop more. Is bowel cleanse okay to do? Why would you want to do that? Your bowel is self-cleaning. The cells that line your bowel are completely replaced every 3 weeks. In some cases, even faster than that. You've got a completely new bowel every 3 weeks. You don't need to cleanse it. You don't need to scrub it. You don't need to detox it. None of that stuff's true. That's just a way that people make money. Pazzy, can hemoglobin get too high on a diet rich in meat? It can in some very few people, about 1 to 3% of people. Their hemoglobin, hematocrit, maybe even their total iron will get a little high. Mine was on the high end of normal, so it was still normal. So there's nothing to worry about. But if it does get high, it's a simple way to fix that. You just give blood once or twice or thrice a year, and that fixes it. And you get to help hundreds of other people. Target prime rib, taken in September 2024. Oh, your labs, cholesterol 181, triglycerides 170. That's still too high. Got to get the triglycerides down. HDL 40, that's still too low. Got to get that up. Then total and LDL and VLDL, I don't care about those. Eat more fatty red meat and lift heavy things. That's going to get your trigs down and your HDL up. Pam, question, if I eat 100 plus grams of meats, protein daily, my blood sugar goes up. Ketones go down. Is that okay during healing, or is moderate protein, high fat better? For some people, adequate protein, I'm not telling you to eat low protein. Nobody misunderstand me. For some people, it is better to eat an adequate protein higher fat diet when they're trying to heal an autoimmune condition, a neurological condition, a mental health condition, an inflammatory condition. I want you to get adequate protein, but bump up the fat. And in your case, 100 grams of protein, I don't know how tall you are, how old you are, how much you weigh currently, but 100 grams is probably not too much, but it's probably just an unnecessary amount. You could bump that back down to 70 or 80 grams a day and then fill in what you're missing with fat. You'll probably heal faster. Animal fats, animal fat only. Keto simple. Hey, my friend, the more I dig into nutritional labels, the less shocked I get, the more skeptical I become. And let me tell you guys, if you're on X, Twitter, you need to follow Keto Simple, because he will grab just a packaged food at the store. He even does this with keto foods. They come in a plastic wrapper that say keto on the front. Hint, that's not really keto. And he'll dig into them. He'll even call customer service and say, I don't see your carb count doesn't match what it should be. Why is that? And then he'll make a video about it. I think he does it on YouTube. Yeah, he does it on YouTube too, but you need to follow Keto Simple. You're still eating packaged food, because he digs into it and he tells the truth. Thank you so much, Timothy. Trey says, I started carnivore and have been getting great results. My sister has hemochromatosis. Should she be worried about trying the diet? Because that is her worry. No. Even people with hemochromatosis can eat a carnivore diet. I would recommend she just eat a meat-heavy keto diet. For those of you who are on the carnivore bandwagon right now, a real whole food ketogenic diet that's full of lots of fatty red meat, for many people, that's just as healthy as carnivore. And that makes some of my carnivore purist friends mad when I say that, but it's absolutely true. Have you guys hit the thumbs up or the heart yet? If you haven't, do that right now. That helps the algorithm know, hey, this is good information. People need to hear this. Yes, your sister absolutely does not need to be afraid of red meat. She's going to get nutrition from red meat that she can't get from any other source. Now, if she's just irrationally afraid of red meat, then she can eat plenty of seafood, plenty of eggs with the yolk, and plenty of poultry, and do almost as good as red meat. But red meat is by far the best for human beings. Thank you, Three Rivers Girl. Mark, I have a wicked dumb question. Don't hurt me. Since there hasn't been any randomized controlled trials on smoking, is it possible that carbs contribute to the contraction of lung cancer and heart disease that are associated with smoking? Mark's a smart cookie, a smart keto cookie. Yeah, Mark, that would there currently the way that the research was done on smoking, absolutely sugar could play a role in the development of lung cancer and heart disease. Yes, absolutely. Now, the hazard ratio in the observational studies on smoking were so high. The hazard ratio was anywhere between 10 to 20 to 30. One study, the hazard ratio was 35, not 3.5, 35. The tobacco smoke is absolutely increasing your risk of cancer. But what if you ate a carnivore diet and then smoked organic tobacco you grew yourself? Would the risk be nearly as high? Probably not. And now this is coming from a strident anti-smoker. Do not smoke. Smoking is dumb. But Mark, this is the problem with the observational research that most nutrition research is. The epidemiological research. Currently, there's no way to tease out. You cannot currently answer Mark's question with all of the research in nutrition and in smoking. You cannot answer his question. Does the sugar in those people's diet play a role? My answer is absolutely. Because most of the people in the smoking studies were bread eaters. They eat sugar, they eat bread, they eat vegetable seed oils every day, but they also smoked. You cannot tease out the answer to his question. That's what's wrong with nutrition research today. Now, like I said earlier, the hazard ratio came back so high in the smoking research that I can say you're dumb if you smoke. Sorry, we can still be friends, but you can't smoke in my house or my car or around my kids. But this is an excellent question. This is not a dumb question. That's probably the best question of the day, Mark. And then Galimentos. DH has diverticulitis on antibiotics now. What next? So I have a YouTube video about diverticulitis and what to actually avoid to keep from having recurrent flare-ups of it. It has nothing to do with eating meat. It has nothing to do with eating low-carb nuts or seeds. It has nothing to do with eating seafood. Diverticulitis, you know the most common person that gets diverticulitis, they're overweight or obese. They've got prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, and they might smoke. All those things will increase your risk of developing diverticulitis. There are thousands of people on a carnivore diet who have diverticulosis. So they've had a colonoscopy, and the doctor said, "Oh, you've got some diverticuli here. I see them." That's not a problem. The majority of people over the age of 50 in modern society have got some diverticuli. That doesn't mean you have diverticulitis. It's when one of the diverticulum get inflamed or infected, then you have diverticulitis. Then you're pooping blood, you got fever and chills, you're having belly pain, you may even have to go in the hospital. Thousands of people on carnivore with diverticuli never have diverticulitis. Hundreds of thousands of people on keto with diverticuli confirmed by a colonoscopy are eating a ketogenic diet, they never get diverticulitis. Yeah, diverticulitis is a metabolic disease. If you're metabolically healthy and you're not eating junk food, it's almost impossible for you to get diverticulitis. Does that surprise you to hear me say that? Thank you very much, Tia. All right, guys, I've got time for a few more questions. Type them in the comments right now if you want me to try to get to your question. Patty in Pittsburgh says, hit the thumbs up, guys. Hit the heart. Yeah, I love the chat going on between you guys. This is so good. Here was a good one. This is from Natalie. How does carnivore help Meniere's disease? And can you do a video on it? So I actually have a video on Meniere's disease on my YouTube channel, but it's centered on using a ketogenic diet. So Meniere's disease is when you have vertigo and you have hearing difficulty, and it's an inner ear condition, and it's caused by two things: chronic inappropriate inflammation and hyperinsulinemia. Now, there may be a slight genetic component, there may be a slight anatomical component, but the majority of the cause is hyperinsulinemia and chronic inappropriate inflammation. Now, there's a way of eating that reverses hyperinsulinemia back to normal. And there's a way of eating that reverses chronic inappropriate inflammation back to more normal levels. That's a proper human diet, whether that's keto or ketovore or carnivore. And indeed, we've got probably 20 people in our private community that used to have severe Meniere's symptoms. Now they don't take any medicine for it, and they don't have any symptoms anymore. And there's thousands of people online. Just read the comments on my Meniere's video. And that was just with keto. I suspect carnivore will get rid of it even quicker. Sean, this is a very popular question in the carnivore community right now. Can you eat too much liver? So technically, yes, but practically speaking, no. So if, for example, you entered the annual county carnival liver eating contest, Is there such a thing? And you proceeded to eat 4 pounds of liver. That's too much liver. You shouldn't eat that much liver. But on the other hand, if you're like, I don't love beef liver, but I'm going to try to eat 2 ounces a couple of times a week, or I'm going to eat 4 ounces a week. I'm going to eat a can of cod liver. I'm going to eat 8 ounces of chicken livers fried in Nisha's chicken nugget batter recipe. It's on Nisha's YouTube channel, Neisha. No, you're never going to eat too much liver if you do that. We have multiple people in our private community that eat 8 ounces of liver, different kinds of liver, every single week, and they've done it for years. Perfectly healthy. Picture of health. Healthier now than they were 2 decades ago. If you eat liver in a reasonable amount, and it's from a domesticated animal, so don't be eating polar bear liver. Don't be eating pufferfish liver. Don't do that. But if it's chicken, goose, duck, chicken, goose, duck, sheep, goat, beef, pork, liver, it's completely fine and safe to eat. Also, let me say this about liver. Liver is not a filter. Your liver does not filter your blood. That's not how the liver works. How many of you sitting there right now going, yes, it does? No, that's not how it works. Anybody who you've heard say, well, the liver is a filter, so if you eat chicken liver, it's going to be full of toxins. They're ignorant. They're not an idiot, but they're currently ignorant of hepatic physiology. They don't know how the liver of an animal works. That's not how they work. They're not filters. So livers are not full of toxins. That's false. Also, your liver is not full of toxins. You don't need to spend $49.95 for a liver cleanse or $29.99 for a liver detox. This is all bullshit. Your liver self-cleans. Your liver is a better self-cleaning oven than your self-cleaning oven is. There's so much bullshit out there. And there are so many doctors and dietitians that emotionally believe these things. There are dietitians right now will say, oh, yes, the liver, it filters your blood. No, honey, no. Hun, no. It doesn't. That's not how it works. Get your physiology textbook out and read the liver chapter again. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah. Now, David's dad used to eat cow tongue. I'm all for eating nose to tail. I like oxtail. I like beef tongue. I don't like preparing beef tongue. It's not a lot of fun. It's kind of gross. But the end product, yummy. I encourage all you guys to start eating cuts of beef, cuts of sheep, cuts of goat that you've never eaten in your life. Yeah, everybody eats lamb chops. Did you know that mutton, sheep, they're not just made of chops. They have lots of different parts. Recently, Nisha and I had some mutton neck. OMG. That was the most delicious, fatty, collagen-rich food I have ever eaten in my life. I can't wait till we have mutton neck again. Eat nose to tail. So 2 final things for me to share with you. First of all, it's not too late to share this video on your social media because we talked about a lot of useful stuff today. And there are people out there who don't know these things. They don't know that this is true. They think the liver is a filter. They think that fiber is essential. They think all this false stuff, and it's hampering their ability to get healthy. Share this video and help me teach them. That's number 1. Number 2, if you'd like to have more access to me to ask questions and me answer your questions directly, join our community. There's a link in the show notes. It's a quick sign up. I think it's a super valuable.